Go ahead.
Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're good.
Okay,
It's
we're
recording.
good?
Yep.
Okay. All right, sorry about the interruption, guys, okay, but we're back with finishing this lecture, a couple more minutes and we're done, okay? So this fear of the Depression, all right, keeps America on a war footing, and even Eisenhower warned about that when he left the presidency in 1952. I'm sorry, when he left the presidency in 1960, saying, beware of the military-industrial complex. And this is what he meant. They serve their own ends, okay? Government contracts are costly, okay, all right? And they'll always create this fear of another attack, the Pearl Harbor syndrome, okay, all right? America spends more of its money on weaponry than most of the other countries of the world do combined, the vast majority. Okay, at one point it was more than the entire world combined. Decolonization was a factor after the war, okay? The old British Empire, French Empire began to break up in these areas of North Africa, Southeast Asia, okay, all right, all began to assert their independence, and it meant war after rebellion, war of rebellion after war of rebellion, unless you had another plan. The British created the British Commonwealth, okay? They let them go, free and independent. Some wars occurred, okay, but the game plan was that you will be part of the British Empire's new economic system. You'll trade with us as most favored nations, meaning low tariff rates. And also, too, will defend you if you're attacked. That's what the Commonwealth was, and it worked. All right. The French were a little more reluctant, so they had a massive war in Indochina, massive war in Algeria. Okay, things like this. But in every one of these cases, we tended to brand those nationalists, those small-time politicians who might be running a small state, okay, all right, but want their independence, and they would appeal to the United States for help. We can't help them because they're trying to get their independence from our allies, England and France, okay? So who would they turn? They turn to Russia, and Russia's more than willing to help them out. We began to see decolonization as the expansion of communism. Well, it was, but it wasn't. Okay, all right. Ho Chi Minh, for example, in South Vietnam, they want his independence from the French first and foremost. Communism second. And also to Eastern Europe, the presence of the Russian troops in Eastern Europe. Okay, they kept them there. And I've said you got to know the countries there. Okay, I'm not going to recite them again, but you know that Eastern European bloc nations are so-called satellite nations. They kept those troops there until 1989 in many cases. Okay, all right. So we felt no, do what we did, liberate the country and give it back to the people. No. They see it as a buffer zone. All right. Poland, East Germany, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Bulgaria, Romania. All right. We would end up spending in this Cold War, okay, $1.8 trillion were spent on Cold War weapon systems. That's $1.8 trillion we could have spent on schools, highways, and hospitals. And Eisenhower talked about that too. All right, think about that, folks. Weapons we never used. Now, thank God we never used them. Okay, the big ones, the nukes. Okay, and that included all the weaponry, not just nukes. Okay, and what about peace? World War II ends. We'll go with September 2nd, 1945, when the Pacific Theater ends, the final battles of the war over, all right? And 50 to 60 million people are dead. But peace comes in. Cold War is a time of peace. Well, is it? We will end up fighting over 100 wars, and an estimated 30 million people plus will die in wars fought after World War II. But that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother course. So here we are, guys. We've hit a magic moment, okay? The end of the course. Now, I hope that this whole system worked for you. I'm not a fan of online education. I think that online education is not education, not teaching. It's basically information management. But this was a way I was able to get the stuff out to you, get your handouts out to you, get your the emails and things like that. I won't be sending an email this week because I've already gone over. Well, I should. I'll just keep up. I'll do it anyway. All right, but I'll just reiterate what I said. I don't want this to sound self-serving, but I hope this works because I'm not an online teacher. So, did my system work? Do I have to modify it? Okay. God forbid I ever have to do this again. I think I probably will retire for good if I ever have to do it again. But just in case something like this happened, none of us expected this, okay? Wherever it happened again and I'm forced into it, all right? Give me some feedback. Did my system work here? Just send me an email. okay, or a line, nothing long, okay, and don't blow sunshine if it did work, but if there's something that I did wrong, let me know. Another way I should go about this, something that you felt you were lost with. But guys, as for the magic moment, I close my notebook and I give you one final lousy joke. I wrap up every history course I've taught, oh God, for the last 20 years this way, saying, well, I've told you everything I know. I've drained my head. My head is empty. I got nothing else to offer. So I guess this course is history. I wish you luck. Maybe I'll see you in the Civil War course in the fall. I really hope so. Okay, so sell that for me too. That's have other students signing up for that. Would be great. Okay, but you guys have been great. You've been patient, and I appreciate that. Thank you.